Hi, my name's Ross Potter. I'm going to be in 8th grade next year, and I go to CPA. Well, today we're going to be talking about John chapter 3. But before we get into that, one of the most important verses in the Bible is John chapter 3:16, which is in John chapter 3. But I'm going to talk about what's leading up to that point. Well, right now, Nicodemus and Jesus have a little interaction. And who Nicodemus is I'll just describe him in the Bible for you. Now, there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a member of the Jewish ruling council. He came to Jesus at night and said, "Rabbi, do we know you are a teacher who has come from God?" Well, so he's asking these questions about if he's really the Messiah, if he's a pastor, if he's or if he's a prophet. Well, then Jesus tells him about being born again, and Nicodemus is confused. He goes, Jesus says, "I tell you the truth, no one can see the kingdom of God unless he is born again." Then Nicodemus says, "How can a man be born again when he is old?" Nicodemus asked. "Surely he cannot enter a second time into his mother's womb to be born." Well, Jesus explains that to him "I tell you the truth, no one can enter the kingdom of God unless he is born of water and spirit. Flesh gives birth to flesh, but the Spirit gives birth to spirit. You should not be surprised at my saying, you must be born again." So, he tells him that you can't be born again in flesh. You have to be born again in spirit. So, by being born again in spirit, is basically devoting yourself and letting God, you believe in God. Well, now we get into the section with John chapter 3:16. So I'm going to answer this second discussion question for you. Looking at verses 16 through 21, what does it tell you about God and who we are? Well, this part of who we are, through 16 through 21 is we are basically sinful, in need of salvation, and we are hopeless when we are apart from God. It's just this it just shows that all we need to live is God. Because if we put total faith in him, he can make anything possible. Well, then it says, what about who God is? He is, God is heart. He has a heart, is loving. God's heart is not to condemn, basically not to disapprove, punish, and sentence us to death. Well, God has made himself accessible. Just believe in him. In Jesus, anyone can believe. Well, that was my part in this, and I hope I will be able to see you again.